Myself, I am Gunakar, Assistant Professor of Zoology, Government Degree College, Siddipet. Today we shall discuss phylum Arthropoda general characters. This topic is included in BSc Zoology first year, first semester of Osmania University. So this topic is useful for the students who are belong to the affiliated colleges of Osmania University. Let us have a look into the Arthropoda general characters. Phylum Arthropoda includes a vast assemblage of animals. Now you can see these many number of animals. You can see these many number of animals. We can't see so many number of animals in any other phylum. Either it is invertebrate phylum or the chordata. So many number of animals are included in Arthropoda. Actually, the Arthropoda phylum is the largest phylum in the terms of number of species. Now coming to the, as I said, arthropods are invertebrates with jointed legs. That means we can define these arthropods as simply they are the invertebrates with jointed legs. They include about 75 to 80% of known animals on Earth, containing about 1 million genera and many millions more to be identified. They play a major role in maintaining ecosystems as pollinators, recyclers of nutrients, scavengers, and food for other animals. The name Arthropoda is derived from two Greek words, arthros and podos, where arthros means joint, podos means foot. So the arthropods are jointed legged animals. They occupy wide stretches of territory and the greatest variety of habitats, extending from mountains up to the height of 600 meters height and as well as in marine water to a depth of about 540 meters. That means they can enter in every ecologically conceivable niche, and they can adapt to a new environment very fastly and they can live there. And this is the only invertebrate phylum, that is Arthropoda is the only invertebrate phylum to have animals capable to fly. Now you can see here the flying animals like here. Many animals that can fly are included in the phylum Arthropoda. You can see here. Next, before looking into the general characters of Arthropoda, let us have a look at the history of arthropods. That is evolutionary history of arthropods. Arthropods represent the evolutionary pinnacle of the protostomes. That is, among the protostomes, the arthropods are highly developed animals. They have originated during the Cambrian period and probably evolved from annelids. That is, annelids as well as, according to one view, annelids as well as arthropods, they derived from or they evolved from same type of ancestors. Anyway, annelid ancestry is evident in following characters. Number one, segmented body. As we can see, the segmented body is also present in the annelids, the same type of segmentation. Of course, with small differences, segmentation is also present in the arthropods. The plan of nervous system is almost same in both the systems, and whereas the determinate type of cleavage is also present in the annelida as well as arthropoda. What is determinate type of cleavage? Actually, the cells, here you can see the embryos, type of embryos here. This is the determinate cleavage, where the embryonic cells, embryo or zygote undergoes cleavage, and this cleavage results in the formation of blastomeres, and these blastomeres are predetermined to develop into a specific organ when it develops. And if at all, if a one blastomere or two blastomeres are excised or damaged or cut from the embryo, then the development is not takes place. That means the development will not takes place into adult. That means adult will not be developed. The next development will stop. This is called determinate type of cleavage. That means the embryonic cells, each and embryonic cell, that is each blastomere, is predetermined to form a certain organ, a specific organ. and if that blastomere is lost during the development, that particular organ will not develop. Whereas in another type of cleavage which is present in the deuterostomes and other, that means chordates, mostly chordates, regulative embryo is present, whereas in these protostomes mosaic embryo is present. In the regulative embryo, indeterminate cleavage is present, where even one or two blastomeres are excised or cut or damaged, there is nothing will be happen to the development. The development continues here. Development continues. Normal larvae or the adult will develop without any problem. Now, these are the three characteristic features which we can relate to the annelids. That's why annelids and arthropods might have developed from the same type of ancestors. Then, though they have developed from the annelids, arthropods show some advances over annelids. What are the advances? Let us discuss. One type of this distinct head. The distinct head can be seen here. Distinct head can be seen in all the arthropods. Now that means here in the annelids, now this distinct head cannot be seen in some of the annelids, whereas this is one advancement over it. Then jointed appendages, presence of jointed appendages in the arthropods, which we cannot see in the case of annelids. Exoskeleton is present, which helps in protection. That means from the external environment, exoskeleton helps in protection. And the striated muscles are arranged in bundles. The striated muscles are also present in the is present, and then these are present in bundles. Then there are special respiratory organs like book lungs, book gills, trachea are developed in the arthropods, whereas the cutaneous respiration is present in the annelids. This is advancement over the annelidan characters. Then there are well-defined sense organs, compound eyes, statocyst, antenna, and antennules in some of the arthropods for quick response. And there are separate sexes, whereas most of the annelids are hermaphrodite, where the separate sexes are not present. So one of the main characteristic features of this arthropoda, as I said, is these are most successful animals. These are most successful, biologically most successful animals. What factors made these arthropods more successful? Let us have a look into. The first and foremost characteristic feature that contributed to the success of arthropods is development of hard chitinous exoskeleton. This chitinous exoskeleton, because of the presence of this chitinous exoskeleton and the presence of waxy cuticle, it prevents water loss. It prevents water loss and protection from the odd environment, surrounding environments. And body is segmented. Body is divided into many segments. And this made their locomotion very fast. And jointed appendages. This is also one factor that contributed to the success of arthropods. And though they are small in size, they are capable of rapid locomotion to escape from their enemies. Whether they fly, whether they walk, whether they run, though they are capable of rapid locomotion. So that's why this is one of the factors that contributed to the success of arthropods. And one more thing that helped in the success of arthropods is the tracheal system. Respiratory system is made up of some trachea in some of the insects, and this tracheal system of tubes for respiration especially in insects has developed. And you can see this trachea more, and we can see here this trachea. The trachea or tracheal tubules are open outside through spiracles. These spiracles are present, many spiracles are present here, thoracic spiracles and the abdominal spiracles, and many spiracles are present. These spiracles are openings through which the tracheal tubes are opened outside, and through which the air enters into the body during the inspiration, and then the air directly available for the cells to grasp, and then this type of respiration where oxygen is readily available to all types of cells gives them a more uh, continuous oxygen. So that's why this factor has also contributed to the success of these arthropods. Now coming to the general characters. Arthropods are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, metamerically segmented animals. All segments contain jointed appendages. Almost all segments contain jointed appendages. Then if we see the organization, organ system grade of organization, as we have seen in the annelids also, the organ system grade of organization is also present in the arthropods. All types of habitats are invaded by the arthropods. That means aquatic, that means freshwater as well as marine water, and terrestrial, aerial, fossorial, arboreal, all types of habitats are invaded by these plethora of arthropods. And if you see the habit, most of them are free living. Most of the arthropods are free living, though some are ecto and endoparasites in plant and animal bodies. Then body is covered with thick chitinous cuticle as we discussed earlier, then forming exoskeleton. The skeletal structures are called sclerites. The skeletal structures are called sclerites. They are joined by pleural membranes, and these skeletal structures or sclerites are shed periodically, where the process of shedding, periodical shedding of these skeletal or exoskeletal structures is called molting or ecdysis, and this is under the control of hormones and which help in growth. In most of the insects, body shows three divisions which are called as, each division is called as tagmata, and this type of division of the body into the divisions or tagmata are called tagmatization. The process is called tagmatization. Example, we can see in almost all types of insects, the body is divided into three tagmata. One tagmata is called head, and other thorax and abdomen, and each tagmata bears some segments, and this is, we can see here, this now you can see the arthropod body plan, where the body is divided into three tagmata: the head, thorax and abdomen, and each bearing some segments, and segments are attached with, that means some of the appendages are attached to, or jointed limbs are attached to the segments. So this is the general body plan of the arthropods, where the body is divided into tagmata. And the exoskeletal structures are also, we can see here, the cuticle, as I said already, the cuticle or chitinous cuticle is present, and this cuticle is of three-layered structure: the outer epicuticle, the middle exocuticle, and the inner endocuticle. And below that, a single-layered epidermis is formed. And actually, this cuticle is produced by the underlying single-layered epidermis, and here and there, this cuticle has some spaces or gaps through which the gland cells secrete a waxy material which spread over the exoskeleton, and this waxy material also protects from desiccation or drying up. And the setae are also formed, and these setae are also helpful for sensation. Then let us continue with the other general characters. Let us have a coelom. Coelom or body cavity. Here in the arthropods there is no true coelom, and the coelom or body cavity which is filled with the blood or hemolymph, and hence it is called as hemocoel. So it is so much reduced that it is only present in the gonadal region, that is where reproductive organs are present. The coelom is subjected to or reduced to that area, and whereas total coelom is filled with the hemocoel, that means hemolymph, that's why it is called as hemocoel. And locomotion is done by appendages, as we have already seen. The appendages are present, that is the jointed appendages are present attached to the segments, and which are helpful for in aquatic arthropods. They are helpful in swimming, and in crawling also, terrestrial as well as aquatic animals are arthropods. They are helpful in crawling, and then some of them they are also helpful in digging the soil for the fossorial animals, and they helpful in running also, and some of the insects they can fly. Actually, this is the only invertebrate phylum that can have some flying animals. Then if you see the musculature, then striped muscles are attached to the body wall that will help in movement and locomotion. The physiological general characters. Digestive system. Digestive system comprises a complete alimentary canal which is divided into three parts: foregut, midgut and hindgut. The foregut is starting from mouth to the stomach, and intestine forms the midgut, and large intestine and the anus forms the hindgut. Mouthparts are present which are adapted for various modes of life, and these mouthparts are nothing but appendages of the head region, anterior part of the head region. Then if you see the respiratory system in most of the insects is comprising the skin as respiratory organ. That's why cutaneous type of respirator can be seen in most of the aquatic animals. But whereas in terrestrial animals, in some of them the book gills are present in some of the aquatic forms, and book lungs are present in some terrestrial forms. But whereas in insects, as we have already discussed, trachea are the main respiratory organs. Now you can see here the many systems here. Digestive system, which is light blue in color, see here, light blue in color. So this is the digestive system, and that is alimentary canal, which starts from mouth and it extends up to the anus. So this is the alimentary canal which have various organs. Circulatory system, and this circulatory system is provided with a heart or multi-chambered heart. That means the heart is many chambered, and it is actually this is an open type. It has only one artery, this is dorsal artery, and whereas the body is divided into many sinuses, that is mainly three sinuses, the open cavities, and where the hemolymph flows through the open cavities or the sinuses and enters into the heart chambers, and it moves forward from backward, then coming to the sinuses, and then it circulates among the body. Then coming into the nervous system, the nervous system is of mainly the annelidal plan, as we have discussed. This annelida, we have seen that the nerve ring is present in the head region. In the same way, nerve ring type of structure is present here also, and this is the brain, which can be also called brain, which is formed by cerebral ganglia, and then it has sub esophageal ganglia, and then the double ventral nerve cord also we can see, and which is ganglionated, and the segmental ganglia also we can see here. These are the segmental ganglia which are present in each segment. Then excretory system, we can see the excretory system which are having various types of organs. Excretory organs are present, and these in some the excretory organs are Malpighian tubules. These are the Malpighian tubules. Of course, nephridia are also present in very few, but mainly Malpighian tubules and green glands or coxal glands are present in the arthropods, and these are able to collect the nitrogenous waste from the hemocoel, and then they will be expelled outside either along with the undigested food through the alimentary canal, or they may be directly passed out through some other means in some of the animals. Then let us have a look at other systems. So circulatory system, just now we have discussed, it is the open type, and the respiratory pigment is absent, where in some hemocyanin is present. Hemocyanin is present only in some of the arthropods. Whether if it is present, it is hemocyanin, whereas hemoglobin is absent. Then colorless blood flows in the blood sinuses, and as I said, heart is very much tubular with many chambered. Then excretory system, as I said, Malpighian tubules, antennary glands, coxal glands, and green glands. These are the excretory organs in various types of the arthropods. And nitrogenous waste products, especially is ammonia in aquatic forms, whereas in terrestrial form, most of the terrestrial forms they excrete uric acid. Most of the terrestrial arthropods they have to conserve the water quantity in the body, that's why they excrete uric acid. Other general characters you can see nervous system. The nervous system is mainly the annelidan type, which shows a dorsal nerve ring and a double ventral nerve cord, as I said just now, with segmental ganglia. And sense organs are more developed when compared to the annelida. A pair of antenna, the nervous system, the brain which lies in the head region, and it is connected to ventral nerve cord, double ventral nerve cord, and with segmental ganglia also you can see here the double ventral nerve cord and all segmental ganglia. And from the segmental ganglia many nerves are passing into the different organs. You can see this is mainly an annelidan type of nervous system. Then the sense organs, as I said, a pair of antenna, compound-eyes, statocysts are also present, and antennules also present in some of the along with the antenna, antennules are also present in some. Then reproductive system, when compared to the annelids, the arthropods show some differences, because most of the annelids are hermaphrodite, that means they are both sexes are present in same individual, but whereas here the males and females are different in the case of arthropods. Sexes, that is sexes are separate, and that means sexual dimorphism can be seen. It means males and females of the males and females organisms can be differentiated very easily. And then fertilization, it occurs in some of the arthropods, it occurs internally and in some externally. And development is indirect with a larval stage. Generally larval stage is present in most of the arthropods, that's why development is indirect. Then some of the arthropods they may exhibit the parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis means the embryo here. Best example for the parthenogenesis can be seen in the case of honeybees. Honeybees, where females they produce two types of eggs, and some of the eggs which are fertilized by the sperms they develop into females, and whereas unfertilized eggs which are not fertilized they develop into drones. This is called a parthenogenesis, which is without fertilization the development occurs. This is called parthenogenesis. And these females which are divided again into workers and queen. So this is a type of parthenogenesis. Then life cycle has metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is nothing but change in the shape or form, so that from one stage to the other stage it develops completely. So this metamorphosis is insects, mainly in other forms, are not only insects, in other forms of the arthropods are also mainly two types, broadly two types: complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. Complete metamorphosis, where there are four stages are present in the life cycle. There is a egg stage, then larva stage, pupa stage, and then adult stage. You can see in the butterfly life cycle here there are four stages in the life cycle, whereas this is called complete metamorphosis. Now whereas some of the arthropods they undergo incomplete metamorphosis, where there is an egg stage, then egg stage develops into early nymph stage, and this early nymph stage grows in size only, but it is not no other changes. In size only it changes, and then it develops into the adult. That means there is no physiological change, there is no metabolic change occurs, only size grows. So that's why the nymph stage, that means there are three stages only: egg stage, nymph stage, and then adult stage. So this type of metamorphosis is called incomplete metamorphosis, where there are only three stages are present. Then you can see in the case of arthropods, parental care also well marked. What is this parental care? The parents they care for their young. Here you can see after laying the eggs, many Mother insects, they carry the eggs on their bellies or on their back to protect to the protected areas, and then they preserve until they hatch. This is called parental care, and this parental care is also well marked in most of the insects. Thank you.